also the case of the obligation to rescind all measures aimed at modifying the demographic composition of occupied territory, including Jerusalem and the status of the holy places. And in the same spirit, the prohibition to establish diplomatic missions in Jerusalem. The same applies to the obligation to dismantle settlements in the OPT, or the obligation to ensure the return of Palestinians expelled from Israel and from OPT and their descendants, and to restitute properties confiscated, be they property, both real and personal property, to their Palestinian owners, and to pay them, the owners, inter alia, appropriate compensation, and further, the obligation to search for, prosecute, and punish the authors of war crimes, crimes against humanity, including apartheid or genocide, or other egregious violations of human rights. May I be allowed to refer you, members of the court, to the table you can find at tab 6.1 of your folders, which summarizes, on the basis of the replies of both the State of Palestine and a number of other participants in the proceedings, those legal consequences on which you are called to rule. Mr. President, the secondary obligations, if you will, that I've enumerated thus far are the consequence of Israel's practices and policies pursued in persistent and egregious violation of the obligations of peremptory norms of general international law, and in first place of its illegal occupation, its denial of Palestinian people's right to self-determination, which is the source of all these evils. Were Israel to effectively and swiftly acquit itself of these obligations, Israel would be partially re-establishing the situation which existed before the wrongful act was committed. Without that, of course, adequately repairing the immense harm caused to the people of Palestine since the 1948 Nakba. To the extent that this harm cannot be repaired by restitution, Israel must discharge two other obligations consistent with the principles codified in Articles 34, 36 and 37 of Articles 2001. Israel must compensate the victims of its acts and give satisfaction in reparation of the damage caused by its internationally wrongful acts in the form of recognition of its breaches, expressions of regret, formal excuses, or by any other suitable means. I won't say more about compensation except to recall that reparation must be entire.